Hi, and welcome to the general reading for October 8th, 2018. I just want to go ahead and say if you have been led to this video and it's not October 8th, 2018, it's a different date, just know that this is a timeless reading. I just put out a reading every Monday for the week. And what we do is we look at the general energy, the dynamics, what's going to be going on during this time for the next week. I want to go ahead and acknowledge that as October 8th is a new moon, and the new moon's going to be in Libra, okay? And so I thought that some interesting pieces here we could use would be chess pieces, right? Okay, so we've got the knight, the castle, and the bishop. So I'd like for you to be thinking about that as I lay out the cards. This time that I'm doing this general reading, I'm going to be doing a 3-2-1 layout. And that is, I take 3 cards from one deck, 2 from another, and 1 from the third deck, okay? Anyway, so let's talk about these chess pieces so that you can maybe help make up your mind. Number 1 is going to be the knight. The knight's a little bit unconventional. The knight can jump over the other pieces, and the knight does not move straight, doesn't move in a diagonal. It just kind of hops around, all right? When you've got the castle's pretty much a straight shooter. It goes straight up and down, right? It goes straight up and down or straight left and right. It's pretty straightforward, like I said, you know. It represents the walls of a castle. And so the castle is going to be kind of more of a direct piece. And then we've got the bishop. The bishop is a representative of the spiritual in chess, right? And it moves only sideways, all right? So it can kind of sneak around a little bit, okay? So, again, 1, the knight, 2, the castle, and 3, the bishop, okay? And just while you're picking, I want to go ahead and say anything that you need to know about me is in the description below. So this is like contact information about my private reads where I can get really specific into questions and just basically anything you need to know. And if it's not there, go ahead and send me an email. I really appreciate comments and feedback and likes and subscribes and all of that kind of good stuff. And I just want to say thank you to all of the wonderful viewers and subscribers that have joined me this week and have been with me. I really appreciate your feedback. But you know what? Let's go ahead and get to this, okay? Because this is why we're here. Let's start with the knight. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get rid of the other 2. Okay, so here's the knight. And I know if I put it this way, then you can't tell. So I'm going to go ahead and lie down on its side, okay? Let's go ahead and look at the Tarot of the Pagan Cats. See what's going on. Okay, you're going to have something new come up in money, okay? That's the biggest indicator for me, and it's going to be positive though. It's like going to be a new opportunity. This doesn't tell me whether or not you should say yes or no to it. Maybe these cards will, but let's just go ahead and keep that to the side. Second, we've got the moon card, and that can be a positive card, which, you know, kind of reminds you, you know, it's a new moon right now. We've got something new coming up, you know, just reminding you that right now is a time of bringing about new things in your life. However, the moon card can also mean that there's a secret that needs to come to light. So be aware that somebody might be keeping a secret from you. So if you feel just a little bit off around someone, just know that that might be the reason, and you might want to investigate that. Also, we have got the Tower reversed. So in some cases, when people read reversals, it's basically the opposite of what is depicted. I read reversals in different ways than other people do, and understand that it's intuitively led. So I don't just use the cards for what they mean. I also use them for what, to help get kind of a sounding board for what I'm already intuitively getting. So what I think is that there's going to be like a little bit of a, it's kind of like a speed bump, okay, along your way rather than like a mountain. You know, it's like, it's not like it's going to be something huge. It's going to be a huge challenge and obstacle. It's just something where you're going to have to slow down a little bit and be a little bit cautious this week. And, but you'll get over it just fine, okay? It is in reverse. So it's basically like a little mini tower, okay? So this is like a Jenga tower falling down, okay? Not a huge major tower, okay? So yeah, there's going to be, I mean, I suppose that so far it's not looking great, you know, real positive this week. But, I mean, this opportunity here is really striking me. And maybe you need to slow down so you can get that opportunity. Let's go ahead and see what these other cards are saying. We have got just breathe and flow. So just go with it. That's what they're saying. Go with it, because you're going to be just fine, okay? Flow is number 10 and just breathe is number 4, in case that's important to you. This is from the Psychic Tarot for the Heart Oracle deck, and this really is an Oracle deck, not a tarot deck. It's so non-traditional that I can't even read it like a traditional tarot deck. But basically flow is kind of getting into the zone, getting into that creative endeavor, being accepting of anything new that's coming into your life. Like, we've got new opportunities that have to do with money, being open to that and just kind of going with it, you know? Some people have to plan and control everything that happens to them, and you know what? I'm one of those people, okay? So I understand what that's like. But sometimes, oh my gosh, sometimes the best things happen to me when I'm just kind of going with it and not really worrying about controlling anything. You know, watch me just control, because I felt like that was off balance, right? But no, I mean, seriously, going with the flow and like just being up for whatever, you know, this might be a week. In fact, it is a week for you guys, for the viewers that picked number 1 or the Knight. It's a week where you're going to have to say, you know what, I'm going to say yes to some of the things that come up in my life, you know. Don't say yes if somebody is telling you to go do something very dangerous. Like, let's hop in this swamp with a bunch of crocodiles. It's like, no, don't do that. I'm not saying say yes to everything. I'm just saying there's going to be some opportunities, positive opportunities. Go ahead and say yes to any kind of unusual invitation, or any kind of like opportunity, like, I don't know, like a job fair, something like that. You know, go ahead and be, you know what, I'm going to show my face there, or something like that. And just breathe. This card I feel is directly related to the Tower in reverse, which is just, you know what, maybe it might look like there's something really, really bad that's about to happen this week, but it's actually something that's just really, it's not going to be as big as it feels like it's going to be. So just calm yourself as much as you can. Like I said, I can be very controlling in my life, and I am pretty much the opposite of calm when I know that something's coming up, okay? So I really understand that that's so much easier said than done, but taking some deep breaths, maybe going outside in nature. I associate breathing with clean air, okay? So that's why I'm saying that. Getting out in nature, that kind of thing can really help just calm you down and get some perspective, okay? And your guidance card is children. Know that your children are protected. Now, if you don't have children, this is about how, this is speaking to how, as a child, maybe you didn't feel safe all the time, okay? And I'm not saying that you have to have, like, the most horrible childhood in order to have feelings of not feeling safe, okay? There are a lot of, I guess, archetypes for childhood, like a monster hiding under the bed, or waking up in the middle of the night with a nightmare, or something like that, that are very common, okay? But one thing about childhood is that children are really vulnerable. They're small, and they know that they're small, and they know that they don't have a whole lot of power. At least not the kind of power that people take seriously, that's valued in the world, right? They have some amazing power of intuition and creativity, and I think every child is just about a genius, right? And I think also another thing that adults can appreciate and also parents can not appreciate about children is they have a lot of energy too, right? And this is speaking to know that that inner vulnerability, that vulnerability that you feel, that nervousness that things aren't going to be okay, things are going to be okay, okay? You're not a child anymore. You have gotten to a point where you can take care of yourself. You can take care of things. And that's what this card's talking about. You're protected because you can protect yourself. And if you're in a situation right now where you don't feel protected and you might be like, oh yeah, that's not happening, you know, there's always something you can do. Reach out to somebody, leave any kind of situation where you're at risk in any way. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because that's another thing that this card calls us to do. All right. And I know that's kind of preachy and pretty serious. But at the same time, you know, it should be more of a reassuring card than a warning, okay? I just want to make sure that you guys know that. Let me go over this again. New opportunities with work this week. Somebody is keeping a secret from you. Either that or this is just a card to reinforce that, yes, there's a new moon, everything, like there's going to be some new things happening in your life, in work and maybe even in other areas. And then the Tower in reverse, there's going to be like a speed bump, not a hill, not a mountain to climb. It's just going to be a speed bump. And you can get through that by just taking some deep breaths and knowing that it's not as bad as it might seem. And go with the flow, get into that creative energy. You might want to try, I know some people, like a lot of athletes talk about getting into the zone, right? You might want to try running or doing math problems or doing crosswords or something like that. You know, there's just certain activities that people do. One of them is playing Tetris or other puzzle games, right? You just kind of get into this like mild trance state, right? I think that that's what that's talking about. And it's also talking about just kind of going with what happens, you know? And again, know that your children are protected, and also know that you're protected. You're no longer vulnerable. You have rights. You have a lot of experience that you can draw from, and you know what to do. You know what to do to take care of you. All right? Thank you so much for joining me for your weekly reading. All right, those of you who picked the castle, I know that standing it straight up kind of distorts it, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on its side. We're going to go ahead and open up with the Tarot of Pagan Cats, okay? And we're going to go ahead and see what they have to say. Okay, so we have got the Four of Wands. This is good. This is celebration. Also this is also a family card. We've got the Hanged Man reverse. And we've got the Five of Swords. Okay, so let's talk about the Four of Wands first. And the Four of Wands, you've got like, you know, of course, you're going to have to use your imagination because I'm very attached to this Tarot of Pagan Cats. So, I mean, I look at the cats and I'm like, yeah, there's some cats and they're partying and they're happy. And it looks kind of like maybe there was a wedding or something like that, right? And you might just be like, oh my goodness, I am watching this video and this woman is holding up a card with cats on it and trying to tell me that they're people, right? Okay, so just go with it, all right? The Four of Wands is all about celebrating. It's all about getting together with either family or friends. It can also talk about weddings. It can also talk about coming together. It's also a relationship card, definitely. So if there's anything going on with you this week, there's going to be some movement in a relationship or in a romantic interest. There's going to be some kind of coming together. There might even be a new person that kind of comes forward and just makes themselves known. But just know that this week is going to bring together either that or a celebration of a more bigger, like a bigger thing, right? Because this feels big for me, right? Okay, so we've got the Hanged Man, but it's in reverse, right? So a situation that has been stagnant, okay, so this is what the Hanged Man looks like when it's in the upright position, right? It's about to destroy your curtains. Okay, when it's in reverse, Oh my gosh, the curtains are safe, right? In this particular reading, it means that a situation that has been you've been kind of stuck in, you haven't really known what to do with it yet. You finally have either figured out what to do and have started to put that into motion, or you will this week, okay? This is a card showing that some kind of decision has been made, or something that was stagnant is now like moving, that kind of thing, all right? And then you've got the Five of Swords. In traditional tarot, you've got a guy holding some swords, and some swords are lying at his feet, and there's these people that are in the background. They've obviously been defeated. There was some kind of fight, and the guy in a traditional deck, it just looks so delighted that he's got all these swords with him, right? This card can speak sometimes to pride, and it can also speak to hoarding. Or even overindulgence. So just kind of think about how, if you've got something good going on in your life and you've put a lot of work into it, absolutely be proud of yourself and give yourself that positive feedback. But also keep in mind that there's other people, all right? There's other people who might not have it so great. And there's other people that maybe by, doing what you did, they're at a disadvantage now, right? So try to keep in mind to be sensitive about that, if you're communicating that. And if it's not that going on, then this will be speaking to, make sure not getting in over your head, okay? Sometimes we say yes, yes, yes to all sorts of things, and in reality, we just can't do that many things. We just can't do it. And we want to be that person that's reliable, that you can count on, that can get all these things done for all these people and do all of our stuff too. I get it. But you can take on too much, and you're just going to drop all the swords, and you're not going to be able to get everything done. And then what are you going to do, right? So just make sure that you're not taking on too much. In fact, what I would suggest is to go ahead and plan some downtime for yourself. That way you know that you have that space. So when you do get the opportunities to say yes to some, to helping some people out, or maybe to doing something for yourself and all of that kind of stuff, you'll know that but later on I've got that downtime where I can just fill in the blank with what you'd like to do. If it were me, it would be like, taking a spa bath and reading, right? I don't mean cards, I mean books. I like reading cards too, though, obviously. So let's go ahead and get some more insight. Oh, dedicated effort. Okay, so there's something you've been working at. This is generally more with work than it is in any other area. So this is something that you've been working at, and it's almost like it's a masterpiece. It's almost like it's almost done. So this could speak to the completion of a project, for example. But the effort's going to be paying off, and that's what that means, keep working at it. You're doing good. You're almost done. Okay. And then we've got rebuild. Okay. So this would be the card basically that would kind of, in a traditional tarot, and this is not a traditional tarot deck, so I can't speak to that. This would be the card that would kind of come up in between the tower and the star, right? You've got like the tower that's broken down, okay? And the imagery is like this tall tower, and it's been struck by lightning, and there's people falling out of it, and it just looks like a really bad situation, right? And then you get to the star where you've got this person with no walls around them. They've lost everything, but they've got so much hope, and they've got direction, and there's this purity, and there's this wisdom that comes with that card. This would be right in the middle of that, okay? So either you have just come out of a difficult situation, or you are at a place where you're setting a new foundation for yourself, and this is just affirming that whatever new thing that you're trying to bring about in your life, keep working on it. Yes, this dedicated effort card is talking about with work, with something that has to do with material gain, but I think that it kind of doubles up as keep working at whatever it is that you're trying to rebuild, because you will be successful there. And I hope that makes sense. If when I do personal readings, I can get so much more in deep with what it means specifically, but that's all I really feel led to say at this point for a general audience, okay? Oh my goodness, look at this card. I find these cards very beautiful. I love the illustrations. Josephine Wall is the woman that illustrates these cards. They're just beautiful. This is the Mystical Wisdom Oracle card deck. And the card you got was Cheer Up, Live in the Moment, okay? So as you're working through your stuff, as you're, as you've decided, as you've taken steps to start, getting some things done, as you're feeling proud of yourself, or as you're, taking on some things, for, you're trying to get some things done, not only for yourself, but for other people too. And as you're coming together, I mean, remember that just kind of understanding that all of these moments are coming together for you in a way that's painting, like you're making these memories, right? And the memories will be so much more vivid as you live in the moment, okay? Now this cheer up, I don't actually like that message, because it's like there are times where it's okay to be sad, and there's times where it's totally appropriate to be happy. Cheer up has always kind of struck me as a way of somebody else saying, I don't like what you're feeling, so I want you to feel what I feel comfortable with, But I do think that the intention of this card is supposed to be uplifting. Basically, you have come through some stuff, right? You've got this card, the rebuild card, right? You're no longer stagnant. You're moving again, right? You might actually have something to be proud of, right? You've gone through some stuff, and now you can kind of relax and, know that you've done a good job, So some of the burdens that you've been carrying around, you're not going to have to carry them as much, or you can at least dedicate the effort you were using towards that to something new and something more positive in your life. And that definitely can help you cheer up, and that can definitely help you to get to a better mental space. So, that's my preferred way of interpreting this card, and I think it's really appropriate with the other cards as well. Thank you so much for watching my reading, and I hope that you got something good out of it. Really appreciate you. Okay, so for those of you who picked the third pile, or the Bishop, okay, now if I stand him up like that, you're not going to be able to tell as clearly what he is, so I'm going to put him on his side, okay? It's a Bishop. Let's go ahead and see what the cards say for you. Okay. All right. You've got a lot of stuff going on with your thoughts here, and some of it isn't very pretty. Something's going on here in your love life, and it doesn't look so great. My goodness. This card can come up for so many different reasons, and since I'm doing a general, it's difficult to really hone in on what the particulars are of this. But basically what I'm getting is that there's been something that's really hurt you, and you're not feeling as protected right now. And I just want to tell you that right now it's okay to take it easy, all right? We've got the Four of Swords here, and fours are kind of like pillars, You've got the four corners of a room, right, and the four walls, right? So I always think about the cards that are the fours, including the Four of Swords, as being kind of like building a room, right? In this card, you've got these treasures right here, and then you've got this cat. In the traditional tarot, I just want to say it's a man, and you've got the cat napping and asleep, and you've got these swords guarding the cat and everything. It's okay to take it easy, is what it's saying. In matters of the heart, maybe things aren't going so great, but right now you can get some clarity. You can get some visions through your dreams. You can, like when I say clarity, I mean mental clarity. It's a great time to communicate. And the King of Swords comes up when you are able to look at these butterflies, right? There's butterflies. When you're able to transform a negative situation into something that is empowering, okay? And maybe you need to just cut that negative situation out of your life. Maybe that's what you need to do. And maybe for some of you, it's just about like, you know what? I am getting overly emotional about something that I really shouldn't worry about. So I'm going to decide to have a little bit more control over that. And I'm choosing to be a little bit more, maybe, I don't know, detached or objective when it comes to that kind of thing. Whatever that story is for you, what the King of Swords tells us is that you will be able to get to a point, even this week, where you're feeling better from whatever this heartache is in your life. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at, this is the Tarot of Pagan Cats. Just want to go ahead and say that. This is the Psychic Tarot for the Heart. So let's go ahead and look at these to see. Okay, coming together and shine. Okay, so these are really good cards, all right? This is the equivalent of the Sun. In the traditional tarot, this is not a traditional tarot at all, though, and I don't want to mislead that it is. These are more oracle cards than tarot cards. But the major arcana is attempted to be represented in this particular deck, and this would be the Sun card. So there is definitely some positivity for you this week. It's not all heartache. So, I mean, this could even just be something as simple as coming into contact with an ex. It's just, you know, bury a grudge or something, you know? I mean, but it feels to me like it's pretty heavy, though. So I don't want to minimize those viewers that are watching. I'm like, it's a little bit bigger than that, right? This is basically a card that I interpret in this reading as being just very, very, very hopeful. And coming together, this card talks about really relying on some people that you really care about. These are your closest family members. These are your closest friends. It might be somebody that you're interested in romantically, or your partner, your romantic partner. Just come together with those that care about you, because they will give you so much more support than you can even imagine. And you don't even have to tell them that anything's going on. And maybe this stuff is really small for you and there isn't really a lot going on. You've just been thinking a lot and thinking clearly. Maybe you've been reflecting on how you've improved from a past hurt, right? But coming together with people can sometimes help in a really, really huge way. And I know that is a lesson that I personally need to learn myself. And I am constantly given opportunities to learn it. And I can say that for somebody who is as introverted as I am, yes, I am an introvert, it always pays off for me when I go ahead and take that risk, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go out with my friends, or I'm going to get a hold of this friend from a while ago, or whatever it is, and or I get a hold of my brother or sister, or, you know, whatever it is that I need to do. It always helps me, even if there isn't even an exchange there. It just uplifts me to be around people who I know care about me. So I really think that that's what's coming together here, what's coming together here, both in your reading and also coming together with people, is that you've got 3 sword cards. These are all have to do with like thoughts, right? Thoughts and communication and that kind of thing. And here you've got this really huge heart card. It's like, let other people share their feelings with you and let those feelings fill you up right now. Okay? And your beautiful oracle card, it's just restating what this is saying. And this is the Mystical Wisdom card deck, and the art is just stunning. It's by Josephine Wall. And you've got the Friendship card. So yeah, come together, right? Nurture your relationships. Yeah, the relationships that you have that are positive in your life right now. That's where you're going to be getting a lot of strength and happiness and support from this week. So this is a week to really focus on your friendships, definitely. So really just keep that in mind for the next week. And know, all of these situations can change. You have free will in your life. Nothing is set in stone. This is just a picture of what it's going to look like this week. So those of you that picked the Bishop this time, maybe you're going to get a really, really awesome reading next week, okay? I really appreciate you sticking with me. I appreciate your support and any comments that you might want to leave. I love that. Again, anything that you need to know about me is in the description, and I'll go ahead and see you tomorrow with a pick a card reading.